So I'll actually give a more recent example that is changing the course of my life right now. In 2023, I hired the first executive into my company, the first kind of equal executive to me as a CEO. And I hired that person because they came well recommended. I hired that person because they had a long track record of success. I hired that person because they seemed to understand a lot of things about business that I didn't understand. And it was time for me to scale. And it was an important thing for me as a CEO to lead the charge by hiring the right people. And then in the following 16 months, that person lost the company individually $500,000 and then put us into debt almost another $215,000. So a giant $730,000 mistake in one 16-month period of time. And throughout that whole time, I saw the mistakes. I saw the errors. And I kept convincing myself not to take action. I kept thinking, this is just what scaling must look like. This person must know what they're doing. Like, you have to spend money to make money. We have to prepare for the future. Like, I kept rationalizing every step. Oh, this was just a misunderstanding. Oh, this was something that will pay off 6 months from now. And then, that 16 months kind of ended in March of this year. And I'm staring at a healthy company that has $0 in its checking account that's carrying hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And I realized I can't let somebody else try to do this because nobody cares as much as I do. I'm the owner. I'm the CEO. The company was built because of my passion for the lessons and my passion for the people that we serve. We're co-owners of the company together. Jihi believes in me and she trusts me, and I can't violate that trust by continuing to think that somebody else can do it better. So I removed that person from their position. I radically changed the company. And within 3 months, we are back into a profitable statement. We are months away from being able to pay off all the debt that we had gathered. We'll never get back the money that we lost and all the failed investments, but we are on a trajectory to go in a completely different direction because I took hold of my company and made it my company again. Instead of thinking that I wasn't qualified or wasn't capable or wasn't good enough to be the CEO that built the company, why wouldn't I be good enough to be the CEO that grows the company?
I think a lot of young founders can relate to that. I hear that story so often. I hear that story all the time. I've heard it for many, many years of the founder that starts a business and then basically gets like gaslighted by, oh, this person's an executive, they've done it for 26 years, so they must know what they're doing. I'll give them a massive salary, I'll give them control. And then they make a set of decisions, which because you've not walked that path before, you're unable to have high conviction as to whether those decisions are good. But because they are so expensive and their decisions are so expensive, you kind of have to go with it. And then eventually you realize at some point that just because someone has worked in some interesting places or had some previous interesting job titles doesn't equip them for this challenge. And especially when it's a small bit, this is actually the paradox of it as well. Like, the mentality of success in like big scale businesses is not the mentality of success in like a high growth startup, where you're like penny pinching.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Super enjoyable hearing this story.